Pinstripe pants, handmade button-up suits with skinny strap tanks made in the finest silk. She is always dressed to impress. Venus in Capricorn is what I call the enchanting executive. It's all about the Saturnian energy and how Saturn expresses itself through beauty. Now, as much as people might think that Saturn can have this kind of like old crone energy that is, superficially not accepted as beautiful, well, the cosmic blueprint shows that Venus and Saturn make quite a great dynamic because of the idea of wealth. So this is how Venus really expresses her beauty in Capricorn is she upgrades everyone, and anyone who is in her presence knows that they could live a better life with Venus and Capricorn, especially when the frequency of the Venus is in its most confident, right? So Venus actually helps to heal shame and lots of things that have to do with low self-esteem. And in Capricorn, some of the things that show up is this fear of being mature, more sophisticated, more formal than other people. This is like the battle of the fountain of youth, and people look at things like the spring chicken and the younger ideas of the feminine as the only expression of beauty. And so Venus in Capricorn does have a plight to overcome, which is to not be ashamed of their maturity, to not be ashamed of being, a more older energy in the sense of they take responsibility. They have desires that are beyond teenage fun, play, and flirtatiousness. So Venus in Capricorn, very profound when she discovers her confidence. There is something about a Venus in Capricorn that is like so dope and dynamic when the confidence is there. People just undeniably are infatuated with this person. It becomes like an addiction, okay? And that's because I like to say that society will say that sex sells, but actually dope sells. And dopeness in the literal and metaphorical, right? So like Capricorn is the business person. So when we're looking at Capricorn, sometimes business is based off of how addicted somebody can be to a product, okay? And this is the portrayal that Venus and Capricorn actually represents. It represents how dope you can be in the space of your confidence. It's like you're dishing out your own product, which is you, your confidence, your beauty. Now, when you grasp this, it's over, and you have no need to ever feel like you need to be like anybody else or dumb yourself down or dilute your maturity and your enchanting executive vibe, okay? So the message of the beauty profile and blueprint for Venus and Capricorn, I say, is about structure. One of the hidden things that I see in people who have Venus and Capricorn is that they create these bony structures out of the clothes. Capricorn rules over the skeletal system, the skeleton. And so it's like the clothes mimic the skeleton, and everything about it is a lot more firm. So the materials are usually a lot more thicker, firm materials like leather. And corsets are really, really dynamic here. Now, you can find corsets in other blueprints, like in Scorpio. In Capricorn, it's not made to emphasize sexy. It actually is about emphasizing structure. And so you'll see that a lot of Venus and Capricorns, they choose things that create the structure of the body externally. And it's very, very captivating. It has a flair of drama to it, and it has a sense of respect. It's almost like it cultivates a level of respect instantly. So the color palette here is very basic in the sense it's usually gray, silver, white, or black. And this is because Saturn is actually really more towards gray and black, and Saturn is quite droopy. And actually, from my observations, the sign that does the best with gray is Venus in Capricorn. You'll find that the opposing energy, which is Cancer, will take on the silvery elements, and that's why silver also is a part of Capricorn. But Cancers, sometimes if they choose gray, it actually dulls them out. So there's certain things that might seem to be quite dull in the beauty profile that Venus and Capricorn actually banks off of, and this is how you actually differentiate yourself and stand out. Okay, so the key is angular and sharp That's the profile. And this also shows up in the hair as well. Saturn creates a more taut hair look. It's usually straight, pulled back, slick back. And even if you naturally have like more crazy hair that like flies all over the place or is not to be tamed, it's almost like the blueprint for you is to tame your hair, because that's the idea of Saturn. It's about responsibility, restraint, and taming. I also like to say that the colors can be icy, icy blue, ice in the sense like the white is representing not purity here, but iciness. And this works well because Capricorn is in the winter season. So it's also displaying that sense of the beauty profile through that idea. Venus in Capricorn looks almost prophetic in black hats with wide rims. Now, lots of people will try to pull this off. When a Venus in Capricorn does it, you see why, because it's really mimicking Saturn's rings, and they are able to pull off like it's like a sexy Darth Vader or a sexy like uh what they call it, Crypt Reaper. I'm sorry if I'm saying the wrong names, but it's almost like it can provoke fear, or the fear for people to be more responsible when you put on a black hat with a wide rim. It pulls people to that need. Another color that I think is really dope here is gunmetal gray. I don't know why this color works, except for the fact that, like we said, silver and gray is a part of the blueprint. So when gunmetal gray, I find that a lot of Venus and Capricorns, they pull this color off better than anybody in the zodiac, okay? And also the idea here is, again, structure, so like leathers, and they have this dominatrix vibe that shows, so it does get very sexy from that dominatrix sense, but you'll also find that it's a lot about suits, right? And so especially on the feminine side, it's like the feminine version of suits. So it might be a jacket blazer. It has to be tailored, right? And it has to be mimicking like the body, the masculine idea of the shape of the body, right? But because it's Venus and it's feminine energy, it also starts to break some of the rules, right? But it's still trying to maintain the idea of the suit, but it starts to take it off in the nature of how one could feminize the suit idea. And so when Venus and Capricorn gets this, it's just outstanding. And it's a really it provokes people to see sensuality from a state of wealth. So these people ooze wealth. Venus and Capricorn, literally, they do not scream poverty at all. And this is what makes them kind of seem like they're the creme of the creme. They are like the top of the line. And it also really goes to show, like, I think this placement really displays more than any other placement, because Venus is very artistic, right? And expressed through other placements. You get high fashion, but you can do high fashion with anything. But Venus in Capricorn, more than even Taurus and Virgo, in my opinion, especially on the beauty profile, it really tends to give the message that when you respect yourself, no matter what your background is, when you formally dress yourself, that you will ooze wealth. So the idea here is simplicity at its refinement and wealth. A homeless man who puts on simply a suit, cleans up a little bit, puts on a simple suit. Sorry for repeating myself. That alone almost enhances the wealth by 1,000%. And this is the energy. This is where the confidence of Venus and Capricorn starts to express itself through the beauty and fashion profile.